Netflix was on the verge of making the worst decision that they could possibly make. They were going to crack down on password sharing and telling everybody all these new rules that they were going to have. And I think that that would have been the worst thing Netflix could have done because people are willing to pay for Netflix for the convenience that it offers. It is 2023, and pirating has only gotten easier. It's not like Netflix is putting out some super amazing shows that people just cannot go without. And even if Netflix was doing that, you could still pirate it. I think Netflix has lost the plot thinking that it just doesn't need to serve people anymore and be convenient and that people need Netflix when the reality is people don't need Netflix. And I think a lot of people, if these rules would have been pushed through, would probably cancel Netflix. And these were the rules that were in effect here. Some of this stuff. So you can see you're sharing your Netflix account with someone who doesn't live with you. People who do not live with you, live in your household, you will need to use their own account to watch Netflix. And the rules that came along with that were things like 31 days. Every 31 days, you would need to log in to the home network to verify stuff. And if you were on vacation, you'd only have 7 days and then you're banned out of Netflix until you go home. So it was a lot of crazy rules that they were coming along with that didn't make any sense, and people were not happy about that either. And these are the changed ones, so it doesn't have those times, right? Because Netflix did say that this was a mistake and they changed all their stuff. But even traveling to a different location, it's changed. If you're traveling or live between different homes, we want you to be able to enjoy Netflix anywhere, anytime. If you're the primary account owner, you shouldn't need to verify your device to watch Netflix. So that sounds good. That sounds fine. No one would have a problem with that, right? But that's the changed version because the internet had so much backlash on Netflix, rightfully so, that they had to backpedal this. And if you just look at Netflix stock here, you can see this news came out on the 3rd. And you can see it have a decline from the peak of 3%. I don't know exactly when this news story came out, wherever here, but from the peak to probably when the internet was in outrage over these new crazy rules, Netflix dropped 3%. I think that if Netflix push these rules forward, which at some point they will, that's Netflix's end goal. That's where they're going. This was not an error. That's what the companies love to put out and say, put out this stuff, and if the internet and people hate it, then they say, oh my God, this was an error. We saw this happen with PayPal, where they said their new policy was an error, and then like a month later, they enacted their new policy. So I could see Netflix doing the same thing because this is their end goal. They want your money so bad, but the problem is they think Netflix is a necessity and people love having Netflix when that's not the reality. Netflix is convenient. And that's why people keep it around. That's why people pay and people account share because it's convenient. But if they're going to enact all these inconvenient things and raise their prices, people are just going to scrap Netflix and they're going to start pirating. It's 2023. The ability to pirate content has only gotten easier, and I don't know why Netflix is ignoring that. But we can see this is the statement from Netflix here saying, for a brief time yesterday, a Help Center article containing information that is only applicable in Chile, Costa Rica, and Peru went live in other countries. We have since updated it. So this is the updated one here that we looked at that makes more sense, right? This still doesn't make sense. People that don't live in the household shouldn't be able to use it. That part still doesn't make sense, but we can at least say that they want you to believe that this was an error and it's only for other countries, which is true. They did start this in Latin America, South America, where they were trialing this and doing this for a while now. This isn't like new for those places, but this is them trying to get it over to the US. That's where their cash cow is. That's where they make a bunch of money, right? So they want people paying for Netflix. It is not an error that they put this out. They put this out. The internet had so much backlash that they were forced to backpedal. And I wouldn't be surprised if just a few months down the line, we have them enacting this exact policy. And you see the problems they're saying that they have, saying like the rules are in place in just those countries, but Netflix estimates that 100 million users are not paying, and it also is losing subscribers to the tune of 200,000 in just the first quarter of 2022, which obviously we did see that. We know Netflix is doing that. It had a huge boom in 2020 when everyone was locked down and everyone had needed something to do. They bought Netflix and were watching Netflix shows. But now people are, one, in tough times. Money is hard to come by. It is not as flush as it was in 2020 and 2021. So people are cutting things out that they don't need. Netflix is that thing that people don't need. The shows aren't even that good. The Netflix originals are not something that people are saying, I need my Netflix account for the shows. They're not keeping anybody around. So in a time where people are short on cash and need money, they get to choose between having Netflix or paying for some food. And obviously, we're going to cancel Netflix in that situation. So, and they reiterated their statement here saying, consequently, Netflix has said it will end password sharing in early 2023. So whether this was a mistake or it was some test of public response, these rules are similar ones are likely to be coming soon, which I completely believe. I think that Netflix is absolutely going to do this, and it is going to absolutely shoot themselves in the foot. They are complaining about 100 million users estimate because they don't have any real numbers, right? But they're complaining about those users not paying for their account when the reality is they don't have content that's good enough for people to want to pay for an account. So if they enacted these rules, the people who aren't paying would simply get logged out of their Netflix and wouldn't really care. The people who are paying for those accounts might think of this, say, well, you know, it's not worth it anymore. So, and they might cancel. So this could accelerate them losing subscribers. I just think Netflix, like the execs, everyone, think that Netflix is more important than it really is. There's way more competition for Netflix. It's not the only big streaming game in town, and that is going to make their competition even better. If Netflix cracks down and makes things inconvenient, and someone else comes, maybe Disney Plus comes and makes things more convenient and encourages password sharing, maybe they outgrow Netflix and take subscribers from Netflix. I could see that being something that happens because people want convenience. It is 2023. Pirating is insanely easy. So if people are going to have to pirate, they will. It's only gotten easier. But if you could offer something convenient for cheap, people will do that instead. That's what Netflix had originally, and now they think they're more important than they really are, and people are simply going to pirate whatever they want. So even if there's a good Netflix original, they don't need to buy Netflix. They can pirate the content. And also, it's still a little weird because even in Netflix's current terms and current pricing, they have these prices for certain amounts of devices. So it's not like you're paying a subscription for one person to use it and then 4 people are using the same account at the same time. If you want 3 people, 4 people using the account at one time, you have to pay more money for that. So it's not like people aren't paying for that. People are. So I don't know why Netflix is going so crazy about this. I think they're looking at the 100 million users and saying that could be an extra $400 million a year or something. When the reality is, if they go after this and make things inconvenient, then it's really going to shoot Netflix in the foot and really backfire on them. That's going to do it for this video. As always, don't forget to smash the like button and subscribe. I'll see you guys in my next